Rondo Alla Turca, Mozart's gem. How did elite warriors from the Ottoman Turkish Empire provoke Mozart to write a Turkish march? Mozart wasn't the only classic-era composer to go Turkish. Both Beethoven and Haydn, and others, integrated Turkish sounds in their works. Turkish percussion offered dramatic intensity and exotic charm. We can thank the Turks for the introduction of the timpani, cymbals, and other percussion instruments into the orchestra. If you listen to Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, you'll hear a Turkish march in the final movement, featuring timpani and cymbals and other percussion instruments. So how is it that Mozart created Rondo alla Turca in 1783 when he was 27 years old and likely living in Vienna? For that, we need 400 years of Turkish history condensed into 50 seconds. The Ottoman Empire was one of the most powerful empires in the history of the world. At its peak, the Ottoman Empire included the areas of Turkey, Egypt, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, Macedonia, Hungary, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, parts of the Arabian Peninsula, and North Africa. The city of Vienna was just beyond the northern boundary of Turkish territory and was the gateway to Europe. There were two significant sieges the Ottoman Turks made on Vienna, one in 1529 and decades later in 1683, both times in which the Austrian Empire, then known as the Holy Roman Empire, successfully defended the city of Vienna. The final siege of Vienna in 1683 marked a turning point in which the Turks no longer threatened Vienna and Europe. While elite Turkish troops, known as janissaries, fought on the battlefield, ensembles of Turkish musicians, known as meteran, inspired them to fight. These musicians were part of the Janissary Corps and constituted some of the oldest military marching bands, playing all means of portable instruments. 200 or more musicians on horseback or marching in formation included trumpeters and drummers, inspiring Turkish warriors to persevere in battle. The ensembles were comprised of zurna, a relative of the oboe, boru, a kind of trumpet, a double-headed drum known as a davul, kettle drums, and cymbals. It's likely Mozart heard authentic Janissary music, but he also could have heard European imitations of Janissary music. The word Janissary is a European invention derived from the Turkish word Yanissary. The basic march rhythm was used to keep soldiers in formation. Left, 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 right, left. If you listen to the left hand in the opening measures of Mozart's Rondo alla Turca, you'll hear this march rhythm. Left, 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 right, left. After that historic final siege on Vienna in 1683, Viennese sentiment towards the Turks began to change. Trade opened up between the two empires, and the Viennese lingering fear of Turks gradually evolved into intrigue with their exotic alien culture. Viennese enjoyed flavorful Turkish coffee and brightly colored Turkish fabrics. On the topic of 18th century music, Eve Meyer writes, Turkery was in fashion. For an evening's entertainment, one might attend the theater to see the latest play or opera based on a Turkish theme, or go to a masked ball wearing an elaborate Turkish costume. At home, one might relax in a Turkish robe while smoking Turkish tobacco, eating Turkish candy, and reading an ever-popular Turkish tale. Turkomania swept Europe, and Mozart, no doubt, wanted to please his audiences. There were many styles of Turkish music, but European composers imitated the Janissary military music, which most often was conveyed through use of percussion. Since Rondo alla Turca is part of a solo piano sonata, Mozart relied on accenting downbeats, rolling chords, and using grace notes. To create percussive effects. Europeans became so fascinated by Turkish ensemble music that piano makers of the day began installing so-called Janissary stops, or Turkish stops. Here at the Beethoven Center in San Jose, California, is an original forte piano, which includes a Janissary pedal. The pedal activates a tambourine-like sound in this black box that hovers above the strings, as well as a bass drum underneath the soundboard. Let me demonstrate the Janissary pedal. To some members of the aristocracy of the day, on a scale of 1 to 10, this piano was an 11.